Have you ever felt like you weren't alone, even when no one was around? What if the faint whispers you hear aren't just in your head, but something far more terrifying? Florida's haunted locations hold secrets that will chill you to the bone, and trust me, they're getting worse. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might think twice before visiting some of these places. Imagine walking through the hallways of an old hotel in St. Augustine. The air feels heavy, and a cold breeze brushes your skin, but the windows are shut. Then, you hear it, a faint whisper, almost like a conversation happening just out of reach. You look around, but no one's there. Some say it's just the wind, but those who've spent enough time here believe it's the spirits of those who never left. Florida isn't just a place for sunny vacations. Beneath the surface, it's home to some of the most haunted locations in the country. From eerie hotels to cursed artifacts, these places aren't for the faint of heart. And the more you learn about them, the more you'll realize. Florida's haunted locations are unlike anything you've ever experienced. And it's only getting worse. So, are you ready to dive in? Let's start our journey at one of Florida's most famous haunts, the Castillo de San Marcos in St. Augustine. This fortress, built in the late 1600s, has witnessed centuries of war, death, and suffering. Many visitors report seeing ghostly figures wandering the stone corridors as if they're trapped in time. The most chilling accounts come from those who've stayed late into the night, claiming they've seen soldiers dressed in old uniforms moving silently through the fort. These aren't just one-off stories. Dozens of people have reported the same eerie experiences over the years, and it's no wonder with the fortress's violent history. Some say the spirits here will never leave, bound by the tragedies that took place within these walls. But it doesn't stop there. If you head south to Palm Beach County, you'll find the infamous Riddle House. Once a funeral parlor, the house has long been rumored to be a hotbed of paranormal activity. People claim to hear footsteps when no one is there and see doors slam shut by themselves. Investigators have captured footage of mysterious shadows and even voices that seem to come from thin air. Those who spend time here often leave with a lingering sense of dread, like they've brushed up against something not meant for this world. And for some, that feeling never entirely goes away. And then, there's Robert the Doll. This Key West relic has a reputation that spans generations. What looks like a simple doll is said to be cursed, bringing misfortune to anyone who disrespects him. There are countless stories of people visiting Robert, mocking him, and then suffering terrible accidents or illnesses shortly afterward. Some call it a coincidence, but others who've faced his wrath swear that this doll is no joke. The longer you dig into Robert's history, the darker and more bizarre the stories become. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the terror that grips those who visit the Bellamy Bridge near Mariana. The bridge has been a gathering point for ghost hunters and thrill seekers for decades, all drawn by the tragic tale of Elizabeth Bellamy. Legend has it that Elizabeth, who died on her wedding day, still haunts the bridge, searching for her lost love. Paranormal investigators have recorded eerie photos and unexplained audio around the bridge, but the first-hand accounts from visitors are genuinely unsettling. People claim to feel a cold, almost breath-like sensation on the back of their necks, even on the hottest Florida nights. Shadowy figures seem to move in the trees, just out of sight, and strange flickering lights appear without explanation. Those who are brave enough to visit Bellamy Bridge at night often report the same unsettling sensation, that they're being watched. Some even say they've heard Elizabeth's soft sobbing or felt her presence lingering just out of reach. Imagine standing there in the dead of night, all alone, with nothing but the sounds of the forest, until something stirs behind you. It's enough to send even the most skeptical running. These haunted locations aren't just ghost stories. They've had a profound impact on the communities around them. In some places, the haunted legends are embraced as part of the local folklore, drawing in tourists and curious visitors. For towns like St. Augustine, these stories are part of the fabric of the community, adding an eerie twist to its rich history. But for others, these places represent something much darker, something people prefer to avoid. Even those who don't believe in ghosts often steer clear of certain areas, not wanting to tempt fate. Paranormal investigators continue to flock to Florida, hoping to capture the next big piece of evidence, an EVP, a shadow figure, or even just a hint of the supernatural. And as more stories surface, the intrigue grows. But for the people who live near these haunted sites, it's a constant reminder that some things in this world can't be explained by logic or science. These locations exist in a realm of their own, where the past and present seem to blur together, leaving an unsettling mark on anyone who dares to explore them. So what is it about these places that keep people coming back? Is it the thrill of the unknown? The possibility that maybe, just maybe, we aren't alone? Or is it the fear of what might happen if we come too close to these haunted locations? For some, it's the allure of the paranormal, the chance to connect with the other side. For others, it's the adrenaline rush, the fear of what's lurking in the dark. One thing's for sure, Florida's haunted locations are more than just spooky stories. They challenge everything we think we know about the world and keep us looking over our shoulders, even when we believe we are alone. And as long as these places continue to exist, the intrigue, the fear, and the fascination with the paranormal will keep growing. Have you ever experienced something unexplainable at one of these haunted locations? I'd love to hear your story. Drop it in the comments below. And if you're as fascinated by the paranormal as I am, make sure to check out my next video, where we dive even deeper into the most terrifying paranormal encounters ever caught on tape. You might uncover something that makes you question everything you thought you knew about the supernatural.